Hello, welcome back to my channel, and this video is an open collab hosted by Mama and Mia's Homeschool Chronicles and April from the Simple Rugged Path. This video is all about the books that we are reading in the month of November, and I've got quite a stack to share with you. So, both of those channels will be linked down below. It's an open collab, anybody can join. It's hosted once a month, and I already share all the books' favorites, so I'm just jumping in and being held accountable to getting this posted for you. Also, I will be sharing with you my mommy favorites tomorrow, and that's in collaboration with Tanya from Project Happy Home, and I always share books there. So you're going to want to check out tomorrow's video, because if I'm sharing my books now, what is going to be my favorites tomorrow? Stay tuned, I'm going to tell you all about it. Alright, so for this video, like I said, I have a stack here, but first let me preface that a lot of my books recently have been through the library. I've been trying so hard not to buy books, but instead of reading all the books that I have waiting for me so wonderfully on my shelf, I have been borrowing books from the library because there's just one after the other that I want to read. And libraries give you deadlines. Libraries give you a 3-week deadline. And if perchance you need to extend it a little bit more, there's still a deadline that you need to meet. I need to figure out how to make my bookshelf have a deadline. I'm just going to start pulling here. There's read-alouds that I've been doing with the kids. I keep trying to tell you something about this library thing. Alright, so I had a stack of books that I think was in my homeschool favorites. I will link that video down below. I give up trying to link anything above. It's going to be linked down below. And there's going to be a blog post. I have all the pictures that I've taken of inside the books. A friend of mine requested that. And I'm going to make a blog post, and it should be up by the time you see this video, but it might be a day or two later. So stay tuned for that. As soon as I have that, I will also leave the blog post link down below to those books that we really enjoyed for homeschool education purposes. Alright. Another book that I had to return was I'm Still Standing by Shoshone, I don't know her name, but it had to do with one of the women being sent to Iraq. Everybody heard about Jessica, and this was the other side of the spectrum. This was the African American soldier and all the trauma that she went through. That was a book that was being read in our book club here in town, and I'll be honest, I feel horrible, but I read that book and not much stuck with me. It was a good read in the sense that I wanted to know more and more of what was happening and just some of the horrors going through it and some of the respect that she was a prisoner of war, and so her captors, some of the respect that they showed her, but also some of the trauma that she went through. It was a really good read, and especially given the mindset that I do have military women or women friends in the military and what they could go through. It was just a little bit eye-opening for me. It was also good for me to think about how to raise my sons that maybe go into the military, and here you are, you've got a woman that you need to treat as an equal, but also show respect. And it like I said, it was just really eye-opening for me, and I probably took away different aspects of it than anybody else, because I sit down at the table and everybody has like all these ideas with their book clubs, and I'm just there like, oh yeah, I got a totally different perspective than all of you, because that's the way my brain works. But anyway, those are some books that I read and had to return. I can't believe I forgot a book. And so it happens when you're borrowing library books and then have to return them. Another book I read in November was The Thing About Jellyfish. That's what it is. And it's by somebody Benjamin. Ollie Benjamin. Benjamin Alley. Something. I remember Benjamin because I have a kid named Benjamin. Fantastic book. It's a children's book. There is a couple words in there. It's written in the first person, and it is a girl trying to process the death of her friend. She's very black and white, analytical, I think is the word that we tend to use. And it's just kind of how she's processing life. And then she learns about jellyfish. And there's so much packed into here with the science and things like that. There is evolution. It's a great book. It was so good. The main character deals with a lot of just, I want to say she's autistic, but they never say that because, again, it's in the first person. But from what I've heard with friends with autism, it made me think of that, but she can't relate to others. She's very fact-based when it comes to conversation, and it kind of makes her an outsider. And it was just beautiful how it was handled, and it was something that I was like, I want my kids to read this. And anyway, great book. It's called The Thing About Jellyfish. Go ahead and check it out. I know I talked a little bit about, needing a break from children's books, but I have to say, a lot of the children's books I've read this year have been phenomenal and so good. So, again, I'm going to leave a link down below with as many of these books that I can find, so you can go check them out, and then you can read the description, you can read the reviews. I'll just do it with Amazon. It's affiliate, so if you decide to purchase anything, then I get a little bit of money by recommending it to you, but there's no extra cost to you. Anyway, it's going to be linked down below. I just had to push this clip in here, and now I got to go teach school. So, adios. Alright, Sharon over at Life of a Tribe. I will leave her channel link down below. Go check her out, folks. Just go show her some love. She is an amazing mama. She's like homeschooling 9, 10, 11 children right now. And, I love this lady. Golly, I love her. Anyway, she recommended this one. I don't remember if it was in a video or if it was on Instagram or Facebook or all the other platforms she has. Maybe even in a message to each other. I have no idea. But she recommended this, and I'm reading it, and it put me in mind of like a Long Walk to Water, where you're just in a different viewpoint of things. And this is about an albino boy that's kind of being hunted. And so they're considered like a sacred thing, and you're killed for it. To be honest, I haven't finished it. I can't share everything that I want to with you. And I think I have a week left before I got to return it. So far, amazing read. It will probably be something that I wait a while before my kids read. But great book. Really enjoying that. I'm going to save that one for last. Okay. Another one that this one's going to be finished in a couple of days. No problem about that at all. Terry Pratchett's Dodger. Emily from ARG Schooling has her book club on Goodreads, and this was the read for November, which I guess that means I only have one more day to read it. And I got so wrapped up in some of the other reads that I needed to do that this got set aside. Great story. It kind of makes you think that this is the Oliver Twist that Charles Dickens wrote. It's about a boy named Dodger that kind of lives in the back streets. And there's a little mystery here. He runs into Charles Dickens, and they're trying to work together. Charles Dickens is, he's working at the newspaper office, where I just left off. I think he narrowly escaped Sweeney Todd, which I vaguely know about Sweeney Todd. I know it's a play that I will never ever want to see. But it was kind of a perspective on that and how newspapers kind of twist things. Anyway, really enjoying this. This is not something I would have just picked up and read on my own. So thank you, Emily. I'm really enjoying this one. And again, as you can see, these ones are on my nightstand right now to be finished. Speaking of finished, I did finish Anne of Avonlea. This was almost completed at the end of October. This was in my October reads, but I did have a little bit more to read, and I did finish it. But I've held on to it just because there were some parts that I wanted to write down, and I didn't get it returned. So now I can go bring this back to the library, and you know what? I was like, I'm going to read one a year and finish it that way, but I don't want to. She is blossoming into such a wonderful woman that I need to go get the third one and read the third one. By the way, the second book doesn't match the second movie if you have never read the series. You know how the first book really worked with the first movie? The second book doesn't work so well with the second movie. So there you go. Go get your second book. Okay. Because of that, and you know what? Sometimes, I admit, this can just get a little, they're more youth-centered, and sometimes I don't know how to explain it. I just kind of want a mommy night where you've got your glass of kosher wine and a good book, and this is more youth, but it's not. And this is Ella Montgomery's novel, kind of like her life. And it's got some really good things and stuff that make you think. And so really, really enjoying this book. And it's got such a beautiful cover, right? But if you haven't read this, it kind of gives you an idea of Anne. So you've got a little bit of her in here. But like if you've read The Blue Castle, who is also by Ella Montgomery, there's just a little bit of that floating in here. And then there's like a little bit of Jane Austen's Mansfield Park. It's hard to explain, but I'm just like, wow, this is so cool. So really loving that, but this one is going to take me a while to read. This is more like a savory chocolate and mommy night type of read, and it's so easy just to kind of pick up and know where you are. And then last one that I'm reading, and this one's heavy, is, see, I even got my little notes here, Understanding Waldorf Education, Teaching from the Inside Out. Now, I posted this on Instagram, and so many of you said, hey, can you tell us more about this in a video? I will. Right now, what I am doing is I am reading through these, and anything that sounds essential to a Waldorf education, I am writing down, making notes, and then I'm contrasting that to, or comparing that, or parallelizing that with what I know of a Charlotte Mason education to kind of see where things work together, where things are opposite, and such like that. And I'm really enjoying this. This is probably one that I would like to own. You know, it kind of works along with the child training and homeschooling and all that kind of stuff that maybe one day I'll be an expert in. I read enough to feel like I'm an expert in, but some days. Alright, last two books I'm going to share with you are the family read-alouds. We're still in Rascal. We love Rascal. Rascal is amazing. But nighttime gets darker a little bit earlier, and it just sets off so much different nightness, family time, I don't know. We ended up playing a lot more videos. We ended up playing a lot more games in the last couple months, plural, that we didn't really do a lot of family reading, but in the last couple weeks I've been reading more, and we've kind of been working more on like Christmas crafts, so the kids are more calm and stuff. And so we're finishing Rascal. I love Rascal. It's another one about a boy during World War I, which has been so educational to me because, you know what? You don't think of station wagons during World War I. At least I don't, but I see that more in like a World War II aspect. But it's definitely just been enlightening, some of the things that he talks about. Whereas my view of World War I has always been like the backwards Sergeant York. Love that man. Sergeant York, you know, the backwards Tennessee boy that goes and, you know, blows up all these machine guns. Hello, that kind of tells you it's a little more progressive than what I was thinking. He doesn't really blow them up, he just takes them all out with his turkey calls. See what I mean? A little backwards kind of viewpoint with the bonnets and the You know, we were born here aspect of life. But we're really enjoying this. What I'm really getting out of it is just kind of seeing how, because it's a autobiography kind of in a more fictionalized aspect, but not really, but it's not just droll. You know, it's very engaging for the children, and what I'm getting out of it is just things that make me think of my own boys and maybe how to spark or help them in certain strugglings that they're doing. If you like Old Yeller, you'll like Rascal. Alright, in our school, we have just started Johnny Tremain, Esther Forbes, and look, we're only like 48 pages into it, and it's just getting interesting now. Like I said, I just started it 3 days ago. And we are loving this book. I am kind of surprised, but I did kind of want to talk a little bit about this. Johnny is not your poetic hero, if you know what I mean. He has patience issues. He has a pride issue, which we kind of always saw, but at the same time, I kind of been flipping the coin on them, where I'm showing, you know what, they have set him up to be this, you'll understand more if you've read it, but they kind of set him up to be a great person, but because of his station, they kind of want to just pull it down. So they kind of make fun of him, or even poke fingers at him because of his station after they've built up this idea of him. So it's brought some really good discussions. He does call a pudgy boy in here stupid. So that's something to kind of talk about. I know some parents tend to change the word, but I didn't. I wanted that sting there of what it could do. And unfortunately, the recipient of the words kind of just laugh it off. But it was a good discussion point. What's wrong? But anyway, I'll probably leave, like, we haven't gotten really far on this, but it's another one that we are currently reading, and we would like to finish up. There's so many other books that we have read, you know, just like picture books. There's not a day that goes by that we're not reading something. And my daughter and I actually had a challenge this month as to who would finish their stack of books. Like I said, it's just nice to just sit and read and kind of just chillax. I love reading. I love perspectives. I love kind of thinking about why I think the way I think. I don't want to read a book to be changed. I don't want to read a book that will only or constantly challenges me. I do like books that just encourage or challenge my thinking. I don't have a specific thing to tell you that you can say, okay, based on what you like, this is what I will think of the books you're reading. But anyway, thank you, hosts, for inviting all of us to do this. Over here, I'm going to put a couple of videos that I've done about books that maybe you would like to see, and it might kind of give you a little bit more idea of who I am in my reading. I've had so many new subscribers. Thank you so much for joining. And you know what? This Mama 5 needs to go back to being a Mama of 5 and get the dinner going, get the clothes cleaned, and the dishes done. Yeah, you can also subscribe up here if this is the first time seeing any of my videos. And alright, see you next time. Bye.